Hello, my name is Jamila McMallow, and I'm a mindset coach for 6- and 7-figure earning women corporate executives and established business owners. And in this video today, I am talking with you about feeling like you're unworthy of the love of a good man. And this video applies to you if you're already married to a good man or if you desire to be. This video is not me talking to men. This video is not me talking to women who have an issue with men. Like, they are stuck in kind of a bitterness and anger phase. Like, all men this, all men that. Not talking to you, okay? If you're in that space, thanks for stopping by. I hope you're encouraged by this video. But really who I'm talking to is that woman who already has the good man, or the woman who desires the good man, but feels like she's just not allowed to have one because of how she really truly feels about herself. And so I want to tell you a little bit about a client, a woman that I worked with, and she has a great husband. And for years, she struggled with an illness, and he knew that. But what he didn't know was how severe her symptoms were and how much she was suffering. And she held that back from him because she never wanted to feel like she was being a burden or that she was being needy. And she really just never wanted to rock the boat. She didn't want to be too much trouble. Okay. She worked really hard to always try to be in a good mood and happy and bubbly and all the things. And all the while just, holding the weight of this illness and her suffering on her own. And so when we started working together, we dug down and we got to the root of the issue, which really was she had been abandoned by a parent. And even the other parent was there, but not really. So really just kind of abandoned by both parents. And when you're a little girl and your parents abandon you, they're not there for you, how you internalize that is sometimes you can blame yourself and think that there's something wrong with you, that maybe if you had been a little better, if you had tried harder, perhaps they would have stayed or given you more attention. But also if you found yourself in the care of others, you may have felt like you needed to walk on eggshells. You were never really necessarily at home. You felt like you had to, constantly be on and try to not be any sort of trouble or burden to these individuals because they were not your parents and they were doing this favor or were babysitting or whatever. And so that's a lot of weight for a little girl to carry. And that's a very sad way to start viewing the world and seeing things as a little girl, to start viewing yourself as a burden, as something that needs to be managed, that you can't truly be yourself or express you're having a problem because that might make life harder for the adults in your life. And you don't want to make life harder for the adults in your life. And so you keep all your own stuff to yourself and you carry that weight on your shoulders. And so as a little girl, if that was your experience, then that didn't change just because you got older. It's the same. And especially now that you have a man who is good to you, who treats you well, who loves you, who you respect, and your fear is twofold. One, because you deep down believe that you somehow were responsible for your parent abandoning you, that you somehow maybe could have been better or done something different or not complained or whined as much, because that's how you internalize that as a little kid. Now that you're in this relationship, you're afraid that if you become too much trouble, a burden, complain too much, whine too much, that maybe he'll leave you too. That maybe he's going to see the thing about you that was so horrible that your own parent left and walked out of your life. And so you don't share and you hold back because you don't want him to leave you. You don't want to say or do anything that could make him want to leave you because you believe that that's what people do because you're not worthy of them staying. and that the only way you're worthy of them staying is if you perform, if you pretend to be happy all the time, if you pretend to be easy to get along with, if you don't complain, if you never express how you really feel in any sort of negative feelings that you're having. And so, that it causes you not to open up to him. And the problem with that is that you are essentially just continuing to shove these emotions down into your body. And if you haven't already, you're going to start feeling the physical effects of that. When we continue to ignore our pain, when we continue to try to pretend like everything is okay when it's not, when we are in the habit of practicing toxic positivity on ourselves, we suffer. And the sad part is, if you have a very loving, caring, and supportive husband, he wants to be there for you. In fact, if he knew how much pain you were in, if he knew how much you were suffering, it would break his heart that you didn't allow him to be there for you. Not because he's angry at you, but because he loves you and he wants to alleviate your pain and suffering. So he wants to hold you up when you're weak and you're not strong, but you won't let him. And so when you're feeling unworthy of this love of a good man because you're feeling like, one, you don't want to be abandoned, and two, you're afraid that, if you're vulnerable, you'll create some type of new dynamic where he'll see you differently. If any of those things are floating around in there, then that's going to cause a problem in the relationship. And really what it boils down to is it's a form of dishonesty, because you're not being real with him about how you feel. You haven't really shown him who you really are. You haven't really trusted him with your heart and with your feelings and with your struggles and with your challenges. And your thoughts, your feelings, your challenges, your emotions have value and have worth. And they are valuable and worthy to that man that loves you and wants to be your knight in shining armor in this instance when he can be there for you when you are suffering or experiencing a challenge. So if you feel unworthy of the love of a good man, I break this down a little bit further in my 3-part free audio training that I put together called The Top 3 Mistakes Women Make When Marrying a Good Man. I want to encourage you to take a listen by clicking the link in the description below this video. Please like, subscribe, follow, no matter what platform you're watching this video on. And by all means, share this with a friend who maybe needs to hear this. And I want to thank you for watching. Feel free to send me a message on Facebook or Instagram if you have a question or a thought you don't want to put in the comments. And you can also learn more about what it looks like to work with me at CoachJamila.com. So thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next time.